Hello.
Hi, Roy. How are you today? Welcome to Declares to Light for Life. It's about life. Love your picture.
Thank you.
So, how are you today?
I'm doing good. I can't complain.
I haven't got much to complain about. Got some. Let me say, I've dealt with many trials and tribulations, and I, I kind of start this podcast off. I'm going to let you introduce yourself,
Okay.
and in your own words, and then I'll kind of explain how things go. Is that okay?
Okay, perfect. You want me to just introduce myself or do you want me to play my video?
Just in, this is very personal. It's from
Okay.
person to
Gotcha.
person.
Gotcha.
I, I like. Let me say, I like getting down in the dirt and playing, and
Okay.
and 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 and, and my business is about helping people, and person to person. You know,
Okay.
so go ahead and introduce yourself. I would really appreciate that for our audience.
Hi, my name is Words Red. I'm a five-time best-selling author, internationally recognized speaker, and a business advisor and mental coach. But it hasn't always been that way. In 2011, I actually went through some struggles where I was broke, homeless, depressed. And when I was pushing my 1987 Honda Accord on the 10 freeway by myself for 2 miles, I just had a revelation and I asked myself, why do I self sabotage myself? And I didn't like the answer to that question. And the answer to that question was I wasn't taking full responsibility for my life. And in that moment, I decided to take full responsibility. I decided to live with integrity. I decided to live with a purpose that was bigger than my life. And it completely changed my life. And that's how I do what I do today now.
Let me give you a little brief background on me so you know. I was raised in a cult till age 11. I suffered sexual, physical, and mental abuse. I was raised in a foster home. I became a correction officer at 21. Lost my job because I was thrown down the stairs by an inmate. And what dealt with two failed marriage, bad relationships, bad choices. I got a bipolar, PTSD, and actually I had a multiple personality disorder, which I went through treatment for and got over that. I spent 2 years in a rehab facility relearning everything I had. And well, to kind of speed things up a little bit, I had two batterers. I just got out of a battering relationship a year ago and have almost went into financial ruin, almost lost my home to foreclosure because he didn't make payments. But I'm coming out of all that after 8 car accidents in about 2 years. I just had back surgery in November and came through that. But I've kept the business alive, and I've kept moving forward, and I've got some great people I work with. I'd like to do a shout out to Pauline and Rhea. I just wanted to let you know who I am, and that just like you, I believe in personal responsibility and accountability. I think those are huge in purpose and the connection of mind, body, soul, and spirit. And I have very strong beliefs in faith, and I believe in truth just like you do, because if you don't have that, you got nothing.
Exactly.
So I hope that gives you a little bit. I know where you're coming from. Okay.
Yeah.
um, to kind of get this started, I kind of have a little bit of a format. I kind of start back from your childhood and kind of work your way up to where you're at now, about maybe some of your things you've overcome, struggles, maybe past family history. This
Yeah.
is for our audience to help people with the experience, strength, and hope, because that's what this podcast is about, is experience, strength, and hope, because we need it right now,
Yeah.
if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna let you dive in and start maybe back from the beginning where you want and what you feel comfortable sharing with the audience, or even secrets. I would definitely welcome those because they always help our audience.
Okay. And just with my story.
Just go with your story or anything you feel is pertinent. I have written 3 books myself, and I'm into my 4th book right now on secrets to declutter, as depression, anxiety, and stress. So, in 8 months.
Yeah. So yeah, like back in 2011, like I talked about, I had this day where I had this nightmare where I was working a dead end job. I was behind on bills and I was just super stressed and depressed. And when I woke up, that nightmare was actually my reality. And I remember being woke up that day with this voice, and the voice was like this deeper version of my own voice. And it was like, Roy, get up. And as I got up, I realized I was late to work. And so I ran in, brushed my teeth, scared that my boss would be angry at me because I can hear her voice playing in my head saying, Roy, if you're late again, we're going to have to let you go. And so I'm running out. And at the time, I was driving this 1987 Honda Civic. And in order to start this car, you had to kind of push it to get it moving. Then you jump in and then crank over. So it was a cold winter morning, well, cold for where I'm at in LA. It was about 40 degrees. It was a little bit of like a thin ice on the glass. And so I start the car and I'm on my way. And I worked about an hour west of where I lived. And I'm driving to work. And as I'm driving to work, traffic started to pick up and I was nervous and I didn't want to be late to work. So I jumped in what's called the diamond lane, or here we call it the carpool lane. But in the carpool lane, it's separate from the rest of the freeway and it's divided by what's called a center median. It's this big block wall. And so I'm in the diamond lane and I'm making good time. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna be on time, and I'm stress level starting to come down. And then I started to smell smoke. And I'm like, I'm sniffing. I'm like, what is the smoke coming from? I don't smoke. And so I look down. And when I look down, there's smoke coming from the engine because this car was so crappy that there was nothing between me and the engine. And smoke is coming from it. And then the engine started to die. And as this engine started to die, I was just like, I can't believe this is happening. I get out of the car. I look up to see how far I have to go, 2 whole miles to get it out the center median. And I look behind me to see if the person behind me would maybe push my car. And I look back, and I remember her like yesterday. It was this beautiful brunette hair lady, and she was driving this brand new E55 Mercedes Benz. And she kind of just looked at me and shrugged her shoulders, like, I can't help you. And so I was forced to push that car. I turned around, tears in my eyes, and somewhere in that 2 miles of pushing that car by myself, with tears in my eyes, embarrassed, the Channel 7 news chopper over me, filming me, telling everybody how this is the reason why the Diamond Lane is backed up on the news. I started to cry. I said, nothing like this will ever happen again in my life. And, I'm a very analytical person. So I said, why is this happening? Why does stuff like this happen to me? And then I realized, like, it's happened because of myself. I continue to self sabotage myself. Oftentimes, like, all of us self sabotage ourselves. And I said, Roy, why do you do that? And the answer to it was because I wasn't taking full responsibility. So in that moment, high emotion, high impact feelings, I said, I'm going to take full responsibility. And I literally, that time just literally changed everything. By the time I was done talking to myself, I look up, I had pushed the car 2 miles and there was a tow truck waiting for me. And I didn't even have enough money to tow my car back home. So the tow truck driver, just on his lunch break, helped me out and towed it back home for me. And when he towed it back, I remember getting home and just literally going on my laptop and Googling how to be successful. And when I Googled it, it was this old white dude showed up, Mr. Jim Rohn. And I remember just consuming all of his content online, consuming all of his stuff. And to fast forward, that was in 2011. In 2012, I was able to have my first 6-figure year. I met my mentor, and my mentor taught me how to um, start a business, how to grow a business, how to acquire businesses. And he said, first thing you got to do is build your brand, build the perception. You need to write a book. And so it took me years to write my first book. My first book was The Success Magnet, Cultivate the 5 Values that Attract Success. And that launched in 2016. And in 2016, a NBA skills trainer by the name of Casey Chueke got a hold of my book. He brought me in to work with an NBA player by the name of Alan Crabb. And after working with him, my career just took off. From there, I wrote more books. I wrote The Unnoticed Advantage. I wrote my latest book, which is called The Little Book of Mental Health. And I like to keep my books short because, if you have to write so much about a subject, you really don't know it. If you can't teach it to a child, you really don't know it. And I just started speaking all over the world. I got invited to a TED Talk, got invited to another TED Talk, and from there, just been speaking and really sharing my message, sharing my purpose, which is to inspire and instruct 1 billion people to live better lives or improve their business.
I can very well understand because I deal with mental health issues and Del- Declares Delight for Life was born out of my spirituality.
Okay.
And I relaunched it after the batter ran it into the ground 8 months ago. And ever since that, I've grown at an astronomical rate. It's like I, it's now just really starting to take off. I'm going to be in a magazine writing 12 articles for a women's magazine
Mhm.
for 12 months for 79,000 women. That's my first. I've authored books, but these I'll be writing for a magazine. So
Yeah.
it's kind of cool, how
Mhm.
things unfold in life. And I can see for things. Um, I know I'm talking a little bit about myself, but
Uh-huh.
yeah, kind of, how things were in your childhood and stuff like that, if you don't mind sharing about that. And maybe things you overcame in your childhood, your teenage years, your
Mhm.
your 20s and stuff like that, if that's okay with you.
Well, what's a little different about my story is a lot of people who kind of struggled, had bad childhoods, but I actually ruined my life myself because I had the perfect childhood. I had great parents. They weren't together, but they both were in my life. I had a very masculine father, where I believe masculinity is not a problem. I believe masculinity is a solution. I was a kid who had a lot of energy, physical energy. I really wanted to, was aggressive. I I'm still, and I was extremely competitive, love to, fight. And just, I grew up in a rough neighborhood, but my dad knew exactly what to do. He kept me in sports, kept me busy. My mom kept me motivated. I have really good self talk running in the background of my subconscious because of the words that they always fed me. My big brother, his name is James Salisbury. My big brother is who I was with every day because my mom was a police officer at LAPD and my dad was working. Um, had different jobs. He was a police officer, did post office, and then he became a trainer. Um, but they weren't home all day. My brother was really the person who raised me and really set the foundation for my mindset. And um, he just taught me I was a king. I was smart. I was the best. He took me to all my games, watched me play all my games, and he really just built a solid foundation in me. But as I got older, I lost a sense of responsibility as I started to have some struggles and realizing that what I thought about myself wasn't what other people were giving me feedback on. You know, I thought I knew I was great, but I hadn't proved it yet. And in building that bridge to prove it, I fell off the bridge and self sabotaged myself, ended up working a dead end job, and ended up in that place where I was in 2011. So I had the perfect setup and I ruined it. And everything that my mother, my brother, my dad taught me, then I was able to see it in 2011 when I was pushing that car. I realized, like, oh, this is everything that I really needed. Now I have the opportunity to prove it because through struggles is how we prove things. And our greatest disasters become our greatest masters.
Mhm.
And that was the foundation for everything I've done today. And life isn't always peachy. It's ups and
Mhm.
downs. It's ups and downs. But I, at this point, I'm a unit of combat that is so tuned to the struggle of life that when things are down, I'm still producing at a world class level. And when things are up, I don't take it as if, okay, things are just doing good. I need to relax. No, I'm still producing at a world class level because I found my foundation, and this is the foundation for mental health, and in my opinion, and I have science to back it up. But you have to find what you're curious about, curiosity. Then you have to find what you're passionate about. Then
Mhm.
you find purpose, and when you have curiosity, passion, and purpose, then you just have to work hard until you have the next thing, which is autonomy, or what this beautiful country is about, freedom. And once you have that freedom,
Mhm.
then you can master the subject you're in, because a lot of us are 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 sad, depressed, and we can go into the chemicals, but really the the I'll give you the definition of why suicide happens, or why being suicidal happens.
I,
People
I
become,
I just want to say one thing. I've been down that road several
yeah.
times, so I understand from the standpoint of actually doing it and being committed to a state hospital. So I've come. You might say I've come back a long ways.
Mhm,
So just I, let me say this.
mhm,
Um, if it wasn't for my faith I have now and that strong grounding and purpose, I would not be where I'm at today, if you understand my point.
mhm.
So,
And that's what, going into faith, I can go deeper into it, but that is something, believing in a higher power is something that everyone should and must have in order to have that foundation, to have the faith to always move forward. The subtitle of the book is Remove Depression, Anxiety, and Addiction for Good. And just to break into that, like I was going to say, my definition of why people get suicidal is because they don't
mhm,
feel like they are going, the map that they have for their life isn't matching the map on what their life looks like, and
mhm,
that makes us depressed and anxious. But then when you don't feel like you have the power to impact it or change it, that's
mhm,
when we become suicidal. So when I get people who are suicidal, the first thing I do is put their hands on the steering wheel to let them know you do have an impact on this. Responsibility is never about blame. It's about, no matter what, you can always do something. You always have the power to do something. And once they get those small wins, a
mhm.
win today, and I have this habit where I go over all the wins I had in a day, because you want to be in a state of gratitude. And usually, especially as entrepreneurs, we're always worried about the stuff that we didn't get done, and that's a bad emotion to be in every day, right? You want to be in a place of gratitude. What did I get done today? You know what? I ate healthy today. You know what? I did have some candy, but I had a healthy meal. I worked out today. First, start with the daily wins. Those start to build oxytocin and the dopamines, and that helps you get rid of addiction and depression, anxiety, because we're really just a foundation of chemicals. And if we don't get the chemicals, we go and try to get them on the outside through foods, through sex, through drugs. Because I'll tell you a secret about drugs. If if all drugs that people take are drugs that our bodies already produce, and if that wasn't the fact, there's no way they could affect us. And so, like, even my friends who smoke weed, and they're always trying to tell me the benefit of it, and yes, I understand the benefit. But did you know, if you just worked out, your body releases its own THC and everything that weed has in it? And so our bodies naturally have these chemicals that reward us for doing things that are good for us. And if we don't do those things and we don't get the reward, is when we get depressed. And so you have to do the work. And I promise you, there's always a reward on the other side when you remember those winning streaks. And then all the depression, anxiety, and depression and things naturally just go away when you're chasing what you're curious about, when you're chasing what you're passionate about, and when you're chasing your true purpose.
Yeah. Well, 15, just to let you know, food was my choice of addictions, and I was 494 pounds. I dropped 360 pounds over 5 years.
Wow. Wow.
So I weigh a nice 145 pounds, stay
Yeah.
very healthy. I'm 55. Um, I work out to the best of my ability coming back from the back surgery. I
Yeah.
actually couldn't walk after the back surgery.
Yeah.
And I survived a car accident back in 2018 where I died for 6 minutes.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah. I'm still here.
I,
And,
yeah.
and
I
I,
would love to know about that experience because
I, if you ever want me to be on your podcast, I would more than welcome it, because I have an incredible story of experience, strength, and hope to share. I even kept this business alive with my people during the back surge. Um, e- Everything, you
yeah.
know, if you know what I mean. That's
Yeah.
what it takes as an entrepreneur, that fortitude, the passion,
Yeah.
and dealing with mental health conditions. And um, just to let you know, I'm very open about it. I had 92 personalities. Went to therapy for 4.5 years just to kind of give you some background. But I'm not always about my story, but sometimes I like to give some people some grounding in where I've been so they understand. Your point on mental health, I definitely understand it. I've also worked as an advocate in mental health for 25 years.
Yeah.
So I have a good foundation, and I have a master's degree in public policy and nonprofit management. So I've been around the block. Everything I do is from personal experience, not theory. I think you understand my point
Yeah.
on that. So, looking at this and stuff like, I've given you some of your story. When you're thinking of helping people and stuff like that, how do you go about doing that? How do you, other than your books and things like that, what are some of the ways you go about helping people, if you do one-to-one or groups, or when you talk, what do you give out, to really help them, if you could share it with my audience?
Mhm. Yeah, so I do it in many ways: books, one-on-one, speaking. What I do with my private clients is you and me, we sit down and we first come up with the outcome that you want for your life. Because if you don't know what you're curious, passionate, and what your purpose is, you are really just aimless. And so I give people my instant clarity question, which is, hey, if me and you were sitting down in a year from now, and you were looking back on that year, what needs to happen in your life and in your business for you to be happy with your progress?
Mm-hmm.
And people will just think. And I just sit there and I just listen, and they tell me, I want to look better, feel better. And a lot of times they give me these goals that aren't actual goals, but they have a vision for their future. And I just take that vision and then I question them more. Okay, you want to look better. What does that mean exactly? How many pounds do you exactly want to lose? And then we start to put numbers and dates on it, because without measurability, we don't have anything, right? And so it has to be something measurable. Then once it's measurable, with clarity comes certainty. And after that first few minutes, they just become so clear about what they need to do now. And that puts their hands on the steering wheel, and their anxiety and depression starts to come down right away, because they realize, oh, shoot, I know what I need to do. Now, tomorrow, I can start doing it. And then we get on a plan to where we can shortcut to the results, because that's what I do and that's what I master at. I actually help uh, underdog entrepreneurs win in life and business so they could prove their haters wrong. And I give them fast acting shortcuts so they could do that. And so once we see what people's goals are, their goals are going to be within what I call the only three, and that's income, impact, and lifestyle. Nobody has any goals outside of those three. So after we get those goals on the income, impact, and lifestyle, then we have to get some skill in mind mastery, time mastery, and mind mastery, time mastery, and money mastery. Okay. So then we touch on the ones that they maybe need most we give them some shortcut secrets to help them. And the three shortcuts that help these are what I call USP, which is unique selling proposition for my entrepreneurs or people who just wants to find a job, is you have to be different. You have to be distinctive in a world where everybody's doing the same thing. And so a unique selling proposition helps us do that. Positioning, and positioning is your position, your perception in the marketplace. I show people how to build a great brand and perception in the marketplace so people will want to work with them instead of other people. So that's USP, positioning. And then lastly is the real secret, which is systems. You got to systemize this stuff. So your life needs to be systemized. What time are you waking up? What time are you doing this? What time are you praying? What time are you meditating? And everyone loves a systemized life, but they don't live a systemized life because why?
Chaos.
This thing. This thing is throwing us off, taking our, look how many messages I got. And
Oh,
you
I
know,
know. I
and
believe me, I know.
what's bad on me is I have two of them. So if I can systemize my life with two of them, you can systemize your life, and you have to control your attention because this world is set up to bombard and take your attention every day, from the news to your phone to your laptop. And attention is the ultimate currency, because where attention goes, energy flows.
Oh,
And so once you get a hold of your attention and systemize your life and do everything, and just something as simple as I'm not going to look at social media until after 12 p.m. Everybody tells me, like, what are you doing until 12 p.m. when you start posting a lot? And I'm like, I don't look at my phone until 12. You know what I mean? Today, I didn't look at my phone until 2 because we had this interview. I wanted to prep. I wanted to be ready. I wanted to be prepared. So many people have the will to win, but they don't have the will to prepare to win. And then guess what? After this, I got my pre-workout, and then I'm gonna go to the gym, and then I can look at my phone and start to wind down, eat, and look at my wins, and then I'll read. But then tomorrow we're back at it and we're focused. So there's, you gotta be focused. You gotta have blocked time, and you really have to be an asshole about your time, even to your friends and family, um, if you really want to feel better and take your mindset to that next level.
believe me, I know. That's why I installed a scheduling system, because everybody and his brother was wanting me at all times of the day. So I blocked out time and have my people block. I get your point. Believe me, I've had to systemize everything in my business, and con- um, I had some experience with it, but one thing I did learn is I get up, I exercise, I read my Bible, I pray, I take my shower, I get ready for the day, and then I dive in, have my meeting with my people in the Philippines. We have about a 15-20 minute discussion to see where we're at, or sometimes a discussion to, further explain things. It's Monday through Friday.
Mhm.
They have the weekends off.
Mhm.
I have a day of rest. I have church, and it's been a process.
Mhm.
Like you said, it's been very much of a process, and truly finding out who you are,
Yeah.
and not. I like to bow when I work with people. I like to bow into people's strengths and treat them like as if they're a good friend, and
Yeah.
listen and help them realize their goals and dreams and hopes,
Mhm.
because some of the folks I work with don't have that, and really need help. And I also help business owners just like you, because sometimes they don't even know the process of marketing.
Yeah.
and I've taken deep dives into marketing. I'm also taking deep dives into blockchain and ETFs, and you know what I mean.
NFTs and
We
everything.
all have to be fully aware of this stuff.
Yeah. And that goes back to the first foundation that you're really tapping into, curiosity. All experts are students first.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Mhm.
um Looking at all the elements of your life,
Yeah.
um what do you think are your most positive attributes of yourself personally, that you could share with the audience, that maybe they can, maybe be able to identify with?
My confidence right off bat. Everybody tells me how confident I am. and I am a extremely confident person. Sometimes unconfidence does creep into my head, but I work so hard. I'm so confident in my abilities to figure it out. Again, like my father would do when I was a kid. If I was 4 or 5 years old and a waitress would come up to ask what we want to eat, and you know how waitresses do, they would ask, well, what does he want? And my dad would go, ask him, speak up. That power of him telling me to speak up, it just gave me so much confidence to communicate, to be around people. My brother telling me how great I was all the time, my mother affirming my greatness all the time. My confidence has always been the foundation of everything, which leads to the next thing, which is my ability to figure things out. I can go into a situation with no information, and I believe in my ability to handle my my meeting with the unknown, because I believe in my ability to figure things out, which leads to the last one, which is pattern recognition. I have really, really high level pattern recognition. I can understand patterns really fast, and I can learn things really well. And I never did well in school because I always felt like I was smarter than the teacher. And it's hard for me to listen to someone who isn't committed to mastery. Why am I listening to you if this isn't your purpose and you're doing it? And so it always created this not wanting to really work hard in school. And so I got bad grades, but I knew I was smart. Just to give a quick story, one time my teacher called on me to read in front of the class just in second grade. And he had just got done making fun of a lot of the students for not being able to read simple paragraphs. And I was getting the F in the class and wasn't paying attention. But guess what? I could read at a college level already in second grade. And he called on me, and the only reason that I read this, I read the rest of the thing for the whole class at a high level. The only reason why I did it is because I wanted to prove to him that I was smart, because he was making fun of, he was kind of making fun of, like, oh, Roy, let's let you read. And competition is what ignites me. And if you know how to ignite me and you add a competition to something, I'm gonna do what I can to win. And I remember just reading that paragraph, and he looked at me like, wow, you're the best reading second grade reader I've ever seen. He was like, why do you have an F what is going on? And then after class he wanted to talk to me like, is things good at home? You're like super smart. And then a bunch of the teachers had a talk about me, you know, because it's elementary. And so I think one of the teachers figured out that it was the competitive thing that made me do that, because he knew I was good at sports. So they put me in this math game. They did like this math game where like the smartest kids in the world played this math game to see how smart kids were. And I was so good. I went to like this like the regionals, and I was terrible at math, and I am still terrible at math. But I just knew it was a competition. I'm like, I have to figure this out because I'm not letting these nerds beat me at this game. And I just got so good and took it to the regional level. I remember my mom asking, like, "Roy, you're not even good at math." I was like, "Yeah, but I can't let dude with the trifocals over there beat me. Like, this is a competition." And so, yeah, those three things: confidence, my ability to figure things out, and pattern recognition is the things that I'm great at.
If I could also say something I heard you say,
Uh-huh.
don't tell me I can't do something. Um, I'll prove you wrong.
Exactly. That you by you just saying that, it's making me, giving me bumps on my skin, because and then that's why my unique selling proposition is one that fully resonates with me. So one thing I do when I sit down with my private clients is we go through a unique selling proposition. And one thing we ask is, what are you wildly passionate about? And when my coach asked me that, Ed Rush, I said, proving people wrong. Proving people wrong is the best feeling on the face of the planet to me.
I just to give it, I had when I was 5 year old in kindergarten, they
Mm.
thought I was stupid, but I had an eye problem and they wanted to label me as development
Yeah.
um, DD, and I had an eye surgery. And in a couple of years, my reading level just went up to the max. And I get your point. They
Yeah.
like one of the things I also like to bow into is not labeling people.
Yeah.
You know, I think, by labeling people, um, I like to help people take their labels off and say, hey, you're more than your label. I think you can agree on that point.
Yeah. You aren't, this isn't who you are. It's just what you do, or maybe what you did.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because when people don't have labels, they can do far more than they ever think they could.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
don't mind me. I'm looking at my beagle laying over there on the floor.
And my trigger that gets me out of my label is competitiveness. Competitiveness. I just went to Cancun with friends of mine, and one of my friends who's an NBA skills trainer, one of the smartest trainers on this planet, said that I couldn't run a 49-second 400. And I said, yes, I can. Bet. And we bet $1,000. I'm not even a runner at all. I'm not a fast runner at all. I'm pretty fast, but running isn't my thing. I lift more weights, and he knows that. But his mistake is he gave me a couple weeks to get prepared. And so guess what I'm going to do? Be on that track, throwing up every day. And I'm going to run that 49 seconds, and I can't wait. But my label was I'm not a runner. But the competition of you're not a runner broke me out of that label. And now I'm going to go do what I got to do, because like neuroplasticity has been proven. And I'm very metaplastic. We're all plastic. We're not a certain way. We're elastic. We can change. But the thing that changes us is struggle. And so a lot of us don't want to go through the change.
I kind of like to tell people that you learn the most when you're in your valleys and not necessarily your mountaintops.
Yep, that's exactly it.
And um, you know, looking back over your life and everything, with your business and everything else, always like to give entrepreneurs the chance to explain their business, and if you like, do a shout out
Yeah.
for that, and go for it.
Yeah. Yeah. So I use fast acting shortcuts to help entrepreneur underdogs win in life and business so they can prove their haters wrong. That doesn't mean you have to be an entrepreneur. That doesn't mean that you have to necessarily feel like an underdog. But I know what to do to get you to your goals, and I'm going to get you to the finish line. I'm going to hold you accountable. And I'm not a theorist. I'm a practitioner. So I'm going to tell you exactly what to do. We have this thing called the wisdom pyramid, where at the bottom of the pyramid is being reactive. The second step to the pyramid is data, which is, you notice how they share data about Corona and all that stuff. That's the second lowest point on the pyramid. Then knowledge. Once you get to knowledge, now we're getting into a place where we can get results. Then there's natural knowing, which is you just know. And then there's wisdom. And so everything I teach is on the wisdom to knowledge level of this pyramid, where I'm gonna tell you, do this, it will work. Not any theories, not any, I'm gonna say, do this, it will make you more money. Do this, and your mindset will go to the next level. Do this, and you will feel better and lose the weight and do everything. And so I'm a master at getting people across the finish line, getting them to their goals, getting them clear and taking them to that level. And I do that with books, online programs, and one-on-one coaching. You can find me at Roy Red, that's ROYREDD.com. You can email me at roy@royred.com. And I'm on every social media aspect. You can check out my TED Talks. I want to get a business card that says Google me.
I,
Inside it just says Roy Red, because everything you see, you'll see on there, my wiki, everything, my whole knowledge panel. And I have a free gift for you guys, especially for the entrepreneurs that really help. But it is a gift that guarantees you to make more money and show you how I think about making more money in your business. And it's on my website. If you go to royred.com and scroll down just a cinch, It's called The Unbounded CEO. And all you got to do is put in your name and email. You'll get that book for free. And I promise I will respect your email and I don't blow you up with a bunch of offers. Just every now and then I'll just say, watch my podcast or I'm doing this promo. But we really respect everything. And you'll get that book. And it's a short read. And I guarantee you to show you where the money is in your life and in your business.
Yeah. I find it's in your story, the power of your story, um, the power of where you've been, the
Yeah.
power of where you're at.
Mhm.
And I call goals guidepost. And I know it's won't get in time.
Mhm.
Goalpost, they change and as life goes on. I think you would agree with that. And this is just to kind of wrap things up. If there were 3 takeaways you can give to our audience, what do you think they would be?
3 takeaways. One is you can do anything, but you can't do it if you don't believe you can. And I don't even mean believe. Let me change that. You got to be certain you can do. So that's the first takeaway. Be certain in yourself and you can do anything. Number two is it's impossible to try. So stop trying in your life. You can't try to do anything. I have my book here. I have it sat down, right? I'm going to put it down. I'm going to try to pick the book up. Okay, what did I do? I didn't try. I actually picked it up. Okay. Okay, I'm going to try again. Okay, I didn't pick it up. Trying is impossible. You either do or you do not do. You either fail or you do it. So keep failing until you do it and stop trying in your life. And the last takeaway is to, um, for me, it's pray. For you, it could be meditate, whatever that is. Talk to the universe every day before you start and do it in a state of gratitude. What I do is I find all the things I'm grateful for and I feel that gratitude in my heart every morning. When I feel that gratitude, thank you for life. Thank you for existence. It's so many, you'll be surprised how much gratitude feelings you can create for the simple things. Thank you to have a cell phone. God, thank you that I have the ability to pee in water. Thank you that I can do all these things because the real issue with the world right now is we're just all not focusing on our gratitude because we have so much to be grateful for. And when you start the day, focus on your gratitude, then you're going to crush the day and take that day to the next level. And at the end of the day, you're going to have so many wins that you're going to be grateful for. And you'll be thanking yourself that you did the work.
One thing I pray every day to God, which I call good orderly direction,
Mm-hmm.
is I'd like to have a great day.
Yeah.
Very simple.
Yeah.
Um, Sounds like we have a lot to agree on.
Yeah.
So I thank you very much. I'm
Yeah.
going to be sending you a copy of my 28 days to declutter your life,
Yeah.
and also declutter a clutter to declutter. I'll be sending you those books. They're ebooks that have been written. And if you're interested in um, I think I got your email.
Yeah.
When my other book comes out in about 2 or 3 months, we're in copy right now.
Yeah.
That these secrets to overcoming depression, anxiety, and stress. So that
Yeah.
is a
And
workbook. Go
yeah.
ahead.
And Andrea, please, when you email me, send me a copy of this video and also send me some dates because I want to get you on my show to tell your story. And I know you're going to also be promoting your book later, but we'll just get you on the show again. But I really want to hear your story on the show, on the Entrepreneur Underdog, because thousands of people need to hear your story. And
Yes.
we'll do it again to launch your book. But please send me this video and we'll get that set up. We have to work on.
What I'll tell my people tomorrow is to send you a copy of this raw video on Zoom. We upload it into our Zoom and stuff. Like you, it took me about 6 months to create my systems
Yeah.
very rapidly. And another big factor I find in being an entrepreneur, you got to take leaps of faith. So, and I figured if I've come through and kept my business together through all the ups and downs of the past 8 months,
Mhm.
you know what, whatever whatever excuse the word crap, whatever life throws crap at you, you know what? You take the crap and turn it into fertilizer.
There you go. That's gonna make you grow.
And you can grow a beautiful garden.
Yeah.
So, well, thank you so much. I will get those books out to you, and I'll have them send you a copy of the link or whatever, so you can have this. It's in Zoom, so you'll have the video from it too. So, I know you can break it up into content. We put out about 50 to 100 pieces of content a day. So, that's where I gain my traction. I don't advertise. I do content. So,
Go. There you go. Hustling.
oh yeah, yeah. If you only knew, I get
Yeah.
up at 5 a.m. every morning and I don't regret it. I
Yeah.
don't regret. I deal with about, oh shoot, 6 different disabilities. I shouldn't be performing. According to the government, I'm supposed to be a vegetable.
Yeah.
I'll let you go, but
Yeah.
I just I love hearing stories of yours. I love hearing the stories of people who come on my show because that's what people need to hear nowadays. And
And lastly, context is everything. You said you had 92 personalities.
yep,
Most people would hear that as a bad thing. I was like, wow, that's so awesome. I just got to meet 92 people. That's
I'm actually one personality now.
yeah, I know, but I'm just, the context changes everything.
Oh yeah. So, you can be deep down. I My wake up call with my weight loss was either buy a coffin or do something about it.
Yeah, I agree.
But well, thank you for being on my podcast and just let me in the recording right here.
Mhm.